Hello everyone, what's going on? My name is Perumal Jagan. I'm so happy to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Let me break the suspense straight away. This video is going to be a shorter one. And also, trust me guys, you are going to learn an interesting concept today. I learned this from penetration testing student course by INE. So, I'm so happy to share it with you. Okay, let's learn. When we talk about penetration testing, it is not a single step action. It is a series of processes. First of all, you need to gather some information about your target, then scanning and OS fingerprinting. I already created a video about this. I explained you the Nmap, network mapper, so which is a prominent tool used to scan and fingerprint the operating system of your target. And then the next thing is vulnerability assessment. So this is what we are going to talk about for the day. After you are assessing the vulnerability only, you will get into exploitation phase. Before that, you need to know about your target. You need to examine the vulnerabilities of your target. Sometimes your client may ask you to assess the vulnerabilities of their systems alone. In that case, you have to skip the exploitation phase. You just need to assess the vulnerability. Then finally, you have to report those vulnerabilities to your client. So the vulnerability assessment is super critical. You have to spend more time in this space, not miss out any crucial vulnerabilities. And of course, an absolute beginner might have this question: what is vulnerability? I'll explain you in simple terms. Assume this is the system that you want to protect from malicious actors. I'm just comparing this system with a house. This system can be a network or a web application or whatever. When you see this house has no entrances, which means there is no break-in point. But you cannot keep your system, your network like this. You need to create some pathway for the communication. The network wants to communicate with some other network or some other system. In that case, you will be creating some entry point. Assume it like a port, the port that you are opening in your system, and you are protecting it with door, a strong steel door. And a lock. Let me view this house from the attacker point of view. I mean, the thief, you can say. Actually, what the thieves do, they try to find an entry point to enter into the house. So, in this case, we have an entry point for our system's communication with other systems and networks. In that case, when a thief or attacker tries to find a hole, they will see this pathway, but they will also see the pathway is protected with a strong lock. You just assume this lock as a vulnerability of the system. Once you find the vulnerability, the proper vulnerability, then you will get an idea what sort of exploit you are going to use to break the system. You have to choose the appropriate exploit respect to the vulnerability. You cannot simply use some screwdriver to break a lock. Probably it's a hammer, right? So this is what the exploit you are going to use to break to capitalize this vulnerability. Again, this is just my point of view. I just keep vulnerabilities and exploits like this only in my mind. So I'm just sharing this with you. At the end, it is up to you to keep certain techniques in your mind. Okay, now let's talk about vulnerability assessment. How we are going to do that. Before explaining how we are going to do, let me introduce the targets to you. Actually, in the lab network, I deployed two targets. So this is the network 10.110/24. I need to find the targets in this network. Both the targets in the same network. Let's find that with fping tool. In the fping, you have no idea what command, what flags to use. You can take some help. So I'm going to use -a, alive target hosts alone, and -g to specify the subnet. fping -a-g, then the network. Target network is my own network, /24, and I'm going to flush out the unwanted outputs. I'm just throwing the output into the dev null path. It is like a black hole. Okay, fine. This is what our output. First 3 hosts are my VirtualBox hosts. So consider this alone. 10117 is the local machine. So my targets are 10115 and 10118. So these are my targets. First of all, we fixed our target. The next thing is we have to know the opened ports in those hosts. So for that we have to use the nmap, but I already ran nmap scan. So let me show the outputs to you straight away. So this is what the nmap output for 10115 and 10118. Both are Linux machines, Debian machines running with Apache web server, and one machine runs Samba file sharing service as well. So just know what are all the services running on that machine. So based on this service only, you are going to customize your vulnerability scan. Okay, so these are the services running in 10115. Actually the machine name is Crossroads, and the 10118 HTTP, the web port, and RPC port. Perfect. Actually I'm going to give an introduction to the free vulnerability scanner. There are 2 versions, paid version, also the free version. For non-commercial usage, you can go with the free version. You can able to scan up to 16 IPs for vulnerabilities in a single scan. So that is more than enough for a personal usage. So let me reveal the name. It is nothing but Nessus vulnerability scanner. So this is the website. I'll just add the URL of this website in the video description. You can go through. So in the video homepage, you will be able to view the available versions of the Nessus. So we are going to use this Nessus Essentials. You can scan up to 16 IPs. These are all some of its features. So first of all, you need to download this version. So I'm just clicking download. When you click this download, you will be asked this registration. So enter these details and give your email ID and go. Then you will get the download link directly to your email. This is what the email I got. You will be getting the download link. By clicking this, you can move to the download page. Also, you can click this link to move to the download page. Here, click Nessus. And you will be getting the activation code in your email. So get the activation code and enter the activation during the installation. Okay, now here are the download packages, Nessus packages for every operating system that you use. So I'm using Kali Linux, and I just need to download this Debian package. In order to learn the installation process, move to the docs.tenable.com. Here you will be able to view the installation procedure for each operating system. I am using Kali Linux, so when I move to Linux, In Linux we have various distributions, right? So each distributions, they gave the specific installation methods. The Kali is Debian based system, hence you have to use this one. So you need to enter the Debian package name that you downloaded from the previous download page. So this is the simple single command you can use. The only tedious job is you have to wait. You have to wait for a certain time, because when I was installing in my Kali machine, it took around a couple of hours to me to get completely install the Nessus. Okay, so you have to wait for some time when the Nessus is installing its plugins. So I'll explain what is plugins, but before that, patience is must. And the next is starting the Nessus daemon. So before explaining this, let me tell you one thing. Nessus is actually working in client server architecture in your machine. So both client and server will be located inside your machine. In this case, both are located in my Kali machine. So you will be using client to interact with the Nessus server. So a daemon, you are going to initiate Nessus daemon. So once the Nessus daemon is initiated, from this machine you are going to log in the Nessus portal using the browser. It's a GUI. Okay, then these are the common commands to start the daemon in Linux distributions. So if you are using a Kali, you have to use this command. Now all I need to do is starting the daemon. Let me start this. I already installed this Nessus in my machine, but in your case you have to install the Nessus by using the single command, and also you have to wait for a couple of hours to get all those plugins installed in your machine. So make sure up to 30 GB of space available in your machine. So it would require that much space to install the Nessus, but also it is totally worth of allocating that space to Nessus scanner. Okay, start the daemon. So in my case, I'm just using the sudo systemctl command straight away to initiate the process. Here I'm going to check the status of the Nessus daemon, Nessus d.service. So this is how you need to find the status of the Nessus in your Kali machine. It is not yet active. To make it active, I'm starting the daemon. It is started. Again, I'm checking the status. You can view it is active and running. Now all we need to do is opening the Nessus GUI, the Nessus client. Okay, https Kali 8834. That is what the URL in Kali machine. So this is what the initializing message that you will get whenever you are opening the Nessus. But when you are installing, you will get this page. It will take some time. Keep that in your mind. Okay, perfect. Now we got the login page. The plugin compilation has finished. So I'm just logging in. So this is the home page of the Nessus dashboard. Here, let's explore what are all the features available. So this is the scan page. So far, I don't have any scans. And here, resources. Here you can create the plugin rules. Plugins are nothing but list of vulnerabilities. And here the policies you can create. Later you can call the policy you created into your scans. And when you click the community, it will redirect you to the Nessus community. Here in this community, you can learn about the plugins in detail. Plugins are nothing but the vulnerabilities of every operating system, every machine. You will be able to see a large list. You can see the total numbers. Around 1,60,000 vulnerabilities are found in this database. So whenever the Nessus scanner is interacting with the target, it simply sends some probe and get the response, simply analyzes that response by comparing with its vulnerability database. So to update this plugins, this massive database, it took couple of hours to me. So based on your network speed, it will take some time. Apart from that, it is an excellent tool to use, to work with. You can see various vulnerabilities for various systems here. The Red Hat vulnerability. They classified each vulnerability inside a vulnerability family, and also they mentioned the severity of that. So when you click this vulnerability ID, you will be able to learn more about the vulnerability. So when you are doing some penetration testing or vulnerability assessment, you will be able to examine your target by using this scanner, and you will be able to understand the vulnerabilities that your target has. It gives the synopsis, description, and the solution, and also some reference links. In the side panel, you will be able to view the type, ID, the severity, the file name, the published date, risk factor, everything. It's a very useful community, the very useful link to go through. Okay, now let's explore the Nessus scanner more. Here, before you initiate your scan, you have to create your custom policy. You can also use the built-in policies, but I'm going to create my custom policy. Okay, let me show you how to create the custom policy. You have to click the new policy. Here, the type of vulnerabilities they gave, the type of systems that you want to scan. If you want to scan the mobile devices, then you need to upgrade. Apart from this, you will be able to perform all other scans here. I'm gonna choose advanced scan. When I chose this, it gave me this page. Here I need to give the my vuln scan. And by clicking the discovery, I can able to customize few other options. I'm not going to test my local host. I'm just unchecking this option. Rest of the entries are fine. I'm just leaving it as default. And the port, and next the port scanning. Here I'm not using the UDP. They gave the reason why we need to avoid using UDP. Service discovery, assessment, everything. I'll just check the web application alone, scan web applications. So it is going to crawl the web directories. And based on the requirement, you can enable these features. And next, the credential. Obviously, I don't have any credential of my target. I'm just leaving this. And the important part, plugins. Here they gave the list of vulnerability families. So they grouped all the vulnerabilities together. In last three, you can see these are all the Windows vulnerability groups. Let's disable everything first, and I'm going to choose whatever I want. I'm going to choose the Linux vulnerabilities, backdoor, brute force. It is not CentOS, so I'm skipping this. CGI, it is not Cisco, so I'm skipping that. It is not a database. Debian, it's a Debian operating system, so I'm going to choose this. If I have any doubt with the plugin, I'm going to choose that. It is not F5, not Fedora, no firewalls, free, not a BSD, not a FTP, gain remote shell, general. It is not a Gentoo Linux, so I am just leaving that. It's not HP, Huawei, Junos, Mac OS. You can see how many operating systems they mention. Miscellaneous, I'm going to enable this. Oracle Linux, Oracle VM. And there is also the vulnerability package to Palo Alto, peer-to-peer file sharing. I'm just choosing, I have no idea, I'm just choosing because of the Samba. In one of my machines, the Samba service is enabled. So first understand what are all the services enabled in your target. Based on the service, enable your plugins. Policy compliance, it is not Red Hat. RPC is there. Scientific Linux security check. and service detection, setting, not a Slackware, not Solaris, not SUSE, it's not Ubuntu, not Visuso, not VMware, web servers, of course, both are web servers, and no Windows. So I'm just saving this policy. That's it. So I saved the policy, I created my own policy named my vuln scan. Now all we need to do is initiate your scan by clicking the new scan button. Here, these are the predefined policies. I'm going to use the user defined one I created while ago, the same name, and the next is you need to add the target by separating comma 10115, one of my targets, and 10118. These are my two targets. And another beauty is you can schedule this. If you enable this schedule, you can mention the time. So during that time, the scan will automatically initiate. And the notification. Once you configure the SMTP server, you will be able to forward the scan results to the email ID that you want. I'm going to ignore these two features because I need to know the instant scan results. So I'm not going to save it. Just click the down arrow here. You can see launch. To launch the scan straight away. Now my scan started. You can see the scan is running now. Let's wait for a few minutes. Okay, now you see the tick mark indicates the scan is completed. Let's open the results. Here it is displaying the scan based on the IPs. I am looking the scan results of 10118 machine. You can see the details about this machine, and also based on the severities, it is just categorizing the vulnerabilities. We found a critical vulnerability. Let's open it. Unix operating system unsupported version detected. According to self-reported version number, the Unix operating system running on remote host is no longer supported. So there is no support for this operating system version. That is why they categorized this as a critical vulnerability. And we can also view couple of medium vulnerabilities. Multiple Nessus plugin identified directories on web server that are browsable. It categorized a vulnerability where we will be able to browse its directories. We can also able to view its secret directories. So also see the results here. In the output, it also gave the list of directories. So we no need to use the dirbuster, gobuster to detect the hidden directories. In the vulnerability scanner, it already displayed the list of hidden directories. So we can explore these directories and we can try to find any confidential data or developer nodes or something exposed. Okay. So this one is the critical vulnerability, and the next one is the web application potentially vulnerable to clickjacking and RPC services enumeration. OS identification. The attacker can able to identify the operating system of the machine, so that is why it found it as a vulnerability. These are all some info severity vulnerabilities. This is for one device. Let's go to the second one. Here we found two medium vulnerabilities. There is no critical vulnerability. SMB signing not required. Web application potentially vulnerable to clickjacking. So know what is clickjacking. Apart from this feature, you can also able to export these vulnerabilities as a report. So when you want to report the vulnerabilities to your client, you will be able to generate the report from this Nessus scanner itself. So You can choose whatever format you want. Yeah, that's all I had to deliver. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you really learned something new from this, just hit the like button and consider subscribing my channel. You can also share this video among your friends. I'll catch you up with another exciting video. Until then, see you guys. Take care. Bye.